I am so sorry. I was talking for all this time. I was talking for all this time and I was muted. I'm so sorry, guys. Forgive me. So I had it on mute because I was listening on StreamYard. So let me start all over again. Thank you guys so much for coming to the Healing Your Relationship Conference. I am Marlene of Living Your Best Life, and welcome so much. I thank you guys for coming. So we started off with the Healing Your Relationship Conference with Casey Detox Steva, and she spoke on wellness. Then we went over to Be Amazing Sylvia. Then we just came from the Boss Life Online and she spoke about money. So now we're here to speak on communication. And we know communication is so important in all relationships. We have to be effective with our communication. So, communication is just imparting or exchanging of information or news, or sending or receiving information. And there's three different types of communication styles. There's verbal, nonverbal, and visual. Okay? So now that we know the communication styles, what kind of communication skills do we need to be effective? So, number one is listening. Being a good listener is so important to communication because it does not matter if you say something if it's not being received. So, you have to be able to listen in order to communicate effectively. So, the second one is nonverbal communication. So it's just by our body language. We communicate all the time just by not saying anything at all. Just are you giving eye contact? Are you, crossing your hands? Are you feel very uncomfortable? All of that is you are communicating to somebody else really how you are feeling. Another way to be effective in communication is to be clear and concise, to be personable, confident. It's so important to be clear and concise in your communication because you have to let people know exactly what it is that you're trying to say. You can't expect other people to know what you're saying. You have to be sure. So that means breaking things down to making it be very easily understood. Another one is to be personable. So when you want to communicate with somebody else, we have to get on the person's level. You have to hit somebody where they can reach you. So we have to be personable so that we can reach and communicate exactly what we want to. And we have to be confident. Be confident in your message. Whatever it is that you are trying to say, you have to be confident and know what you feel. Be prepared in saying what you have to say. Number six is to have empathy. You have to empathize with other people. And people aren't really going to listen to you, understand you, if you can't empathize with their feelings as well. Number seven is you have to have an open mind. You have to have an open mind towards different ways of thinking. Not everybody has the same thinking. No, everybody comes from different cultures, different backgrounds, different educational levels. So everybody is not on the same level. So we have to communicate with others on their level, and you have to have an open mind and be open to other people's opinion. Number eight, you have to convey respect. When you communicate, you have to be respectful because of course we want respect, right? So we have to also give respect to other people. In that way you can be on a level playing ground, because we know so many times that when we communicate, or we've had communication with other people and they talk down to you, they look down to you, they're very mean and nasty and rude. That's not effective. It's not going to be taken in effectively. And you're going to get a negative response where people will shut down, leave, walk away, not listen to you, blank out, all of that. So that's why it's so important to respect other people's feelings, because we want to be respected. So we have to respect other people as well. So let me go down to the last two on here. Number 9 is we have to give and receive feedback. It's important that we give and we receive appropriate feedback. So that means it's essential to our communication, particularly in our roles with others, especially if you're in a role of managing other people. We want to give constructive feedback. They always say when you communicate, try to give some type of praise before you go in for the shot. Like before you go in and say, really, if you have something to say, maybe that has a heavy or a hard message, try to say something nice first, something kind, and then hit them with the 1, 2 shot. So it's so important for us to accept and also to encourage feedback from others. We have to listen to other people and we have to speak positively. So, guys, I just want to talk to you guys about the communication. Let me look in the chat for a second before I get started. Welcome, everybody in the chat. I thank you guys so much for being here. Hi, Grandma Faye, uh, Ruth, Vow 11, Carla, Boss Life Online, Mr. Fulton, Panama City. Let's see, anybody else if I miss? I am Tracy Lee, Be Amazing Sylvia, uh, Minister of Music, Primping Ain't Easy. Regina Michelle, hi everybody. I thank you so much for coming to the Healing Your Relationship conference. So, when it comes to communication, we have to go all the way back to our childhood. How was it when you were growing up? Were you was your communication style within your family, was it healthy? We have to start here as a basis for everything. If you don't look back at the past, you can't fix the future and you can't fix your present. So to be effective at communication, you have to look back at the past and you have to fix what is not working. Just because you say something, just because you are communicating, you think you're communicating effectively, doesn't mean that you are reaching your target audience. You're not reaching maybe your family member, your coworker, your spouse, your significant other, your friends. And we have to communicate effectively so that we can be reaching to others. And it's so important to look at our reach. So we have to think about the way we communicate. When we speak, how is our tone? Are we angry? Are we upset? Are we doing things at a time that's not very appropriate? We have to remember that while we want to communicate and say the things that we want to say, we have to make sure it's a time where it's able to be reached. We have to be able to reach whoever we're seeking to speak to. It does not matter if you say something, if it's not being received. We want to be able to receive everything that we say. And that means going back and maybe fixing things sometimes that maybe wasn't right. Because I will tell you guys, just because you grew up in a certain communication style, you talked a certain way in your family. Maybe some people liked to shout, argue, raise their voice. That does not mean you have to take that into your adulthood. You don't have to take what is not healthy from your past and keep it in your present. As adults, as mature people, as people who are trying to have more awareness, we love ourselves. We want better for ourselves. And in that way, we want to work on our communication so we can make sure our communication is effective. Because it's true that whatever role that you are playing in this life, we want it to be something that's accepted. We want people to be able to hear us. Isn't that important? We want to be heard. We want to be listened to. We want to be received and accepted. And the way that maybe our approach, the way that you may be saying something may not be effective. We have to always work on our tone. How are you talking? Are you raising your voice? Do you have an attitude going like this? That's not going to be received. You make people back away. You make people back away. And it just does not work. Or people shut their ears, because we hear all the time that people will say, I heard you, but I was not listening. Right. And that's not what we want. We want to not only communicate, we want to be listened to, we want to be received. Right. We want whatever we're saying, we want it to come across. We want to have good and healthy relationships. That's why I wanted to do this topic about communication, because just because you've been doing something for a long time, just because you've been communicating a certain way all along. Maybe your mother, your father, your auntie, your grandparents, they did not speak, they didn't have conversations, sit down and have conversations, check in with one another. That's how you heal relationships. You have to start, even if you did not receive it, start with your children, your grandchildren, cousins, mend and heal. It's time people come together instead of keep harboring resentment, keep being upset, angry because of something that happened 30 years ago in your family unit. And there was some type of disruption, some type of upset, some hurt, some anger, some pain behind it. And the next generation comes along and they're upset. They have the pain because of what their parents are bringing in. So we have to heal the relationship. We have to mend. We have to fix. We have to bind up, uplift, encourage. And in doing that, we have to communicate effectively. And in the effective communication, we have to start with ourselves. Remember, you are valuable. What you have to say is important. What you have to say is important. So go back into yourself and think about your communication style. Take a moment to meditate on that. When I communicate, am I calm? Am I bringing my point across? Or am I yelling? Am I being disrespectful? Am I talking down to people, being disrespectful? We have to be open and honest about that. That's how we heal relationships. That's how we improve. Be a better human being. Be better mothers and aunties and uncles and fathers and sisters and brothers and friends. It goes so broad. It's so broad and so deep. When you fix and heal your relationship with communication, you fix your relationship with your husband, your spouse, significant other, friends, family, workmates, all of it. A healing takes place. A healing takes place. And isn't that what we want? We want a healing to take place in everything. Just like all of the other topics from the ladies before, we have to think and focus on not only those other topics, but we have to heal communication. And communication is so vital, because if you just are speaking and you're not being heard, it's just this. People can just see your lips moving, but nothing is reaching. When we communicate, we want to reach other people's heart. We want to stir people to action. We want people to respect us. We want all of those things, and we can't have those things if we are selfish. We have to go to the core. We have to go to the core of who we are. And we have to be honest with ourselves. When we go to the core of who we are, it doesn't matter what you have been through. What you have been through is not who you are today. And that's why this healing your relationship conference is so important, because you don't have to stay where you were. You can move past that. You can stand in effectiveness. in being a good example, in stirring other people to action, into trying new things, healing and mending your relationship. It's time, husbands and wives, sit down and have a conversation. Look at each other in the eye. Have some time outside of a phone. Always, we're always on our phone, texting, watching things on TV. Sometimes you have to turn off all those electronics. Turn off your phones. Turn off your TVs, and get back to the core of just sitting down, face to face conversation, asking each other, what's going on? How are you doing? How are we doing? How is our friendship? Speak to your friends. Communicate. Ask them how they're feeling, because you can't always want people to be your friend. You have to be a friend as well. And that's so important, guys. Excuse me. That's so important. You have to be a friend as well. Not only do we want friends, we have to be a friend, and we have to be our first line of defense in friendship. Uh, be honest with yourself. I need to learn to be more patient. I need to learn to be more understanding. When somebody is talking to me, sit down and really listen. Open up your ears, open up your heart, and do not interrupt others when they are trying to communicate with you. They're trying to tell you how they're feeling. When somebody else is talking, it's your time to zip, be quiet, and listen. So many times we keep going when somebody's talking, we're trying to find a solution, an answer. No, when somebody is talking to us, it's their opportunity to share their feelings, their opinions, and we need to listen. Listen. And after someone communicates with us, then we have to ask the questions. Is this what you meant? So that I understand. And the same thing, vice versa. It goes both ways. That's how you have a healthy communication with one another. That's how you heal and mend relationships, not only with yourself, with friends, with family members, with workmates, and so important that you heal your relationship as well with God. You know, in communication, we have to open up our heart. God knows everything already. He knows everything. There's nothing you can't hide from him. You can't hide anything. You can hide and pull a wool over somebody else's eyes, but you can't fool God. He knows everything that you have been through. He knows your beginning. He knows your present, and he knows your future. So when we ask God and we said, I want to improve, I want to be a better human being, I want to be a better, whatever role you are, I want to be a better wife, I want to be a better mother, I want to be a better sister, better friend, better workmate, I want to be better with my finance. But we have to communicate that. And we have to be effective and stand in that and receive it. So whatever is not working, fix it. Be honest about what's not working. We have to be honest. And then in that way, we're healing. We're healing. We're mending. And that's something that maybe years ago people used to do. People used to just speak, and then you were not allowed to say anything, because back in the day, children were only seen and not heard. But allow children to come to us and talk. Allow your spouse to maybe say something sometimes that maybe is true. Sometimes that's what hurts us the most, when somebody says something to us and it's true. Oh, and you have your line of defense, you're ready to fight. No. When somebody tells you something, especially if somebody who cares about you, is most likely said in love. because that person wants you to grow. They want you to mature. They want you to elevate, raise your vibration, fix your finances, heal your wellness, take some time out for you, heal your broken heart. Come on. But we have to be honest enough within ourselves to want to fix it. That's the thing about communication. We have to want to fix our communication styles. You have to want better in order to do better, right? So we're on this journey, all of us in our lives. We are not going to stay where we were. We're going to mature. We're going to listen. We're going to be patient. We're not going to overtalk others. We're going to be honest with ourselves. We're going to sit back and receive things. Yes, we're going to receive it, even when it's hard, even when it's hard for us to hear things. Don't interrupt. Say, this is something I need. It's something hard for me to hear. It's very hard for me to hear something that we lack. Being humans, being imperfect, we we struggle with that. We always have our defenses up. We're always ready to fight in battle. But you don't have to fight. If you want to improve, if you want to be a better human being, if you want to be a better person, if you want to play better roles in your life, improve. And you can heal all of your relationships. Every single one of your relationships, you can heal them. And it all starts with good, effective communication. It means being positive, not gossiping about others. Don't be a person who's a backbiter, do evil things, talk about people. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. In communication, we have to also learn that sometimes the best thing is to say nothing. So, in communication, also, we have to learn that sometimes it's time to just zip our mouth, be silent. You don't have to tell everybody everything that's going on in your head and in your heart, but give those to people that you can trust, people that really care about you. That's how you are effective in your communication styles. That's how you're effective with other people. That's how you're going to feel good about yourself. Value yourself, respect yourself. And remember, you're not a product of your environment. You don't have to be bitter and angry. Whatever happened to you in the past, remove that. Remove it and rebuke it. Even when you have evil thoughts, even when other people come at you with evil thoughts or say things and talk about you behind your back and say things, that's a lie. It's a lie. But don't put your energy into it. Don't do that. It's not worth it. You remember, you deserve better. You deserve better. And to heal our relationships, we have to remember that you are valuable, you are important, you have meaning, you are strong. All of those things that maybe, even if it was something that was not taught to you, maybe you were not taught to talk. Maybe you are a person like myself who always used to bottle everything up until one day you just explode like a volcano. Just because you used to do that, you don't have to go back to that. You don't have to stay there. You can move past what is unhealthy. And you have to realize that keeping things inside is not good for your emotional, spiritual, mental, physical well being. We have to heal from all of those things. And it takes maturity on our part to be able to receive it. Because when somebody tells you you're not patient, you're over talking me, Oh, it's hard to receive that in our spirit. We have our defenses up. We're ready to fight, but don't. Mature, grow, be better. Be better than the past. Remember, you have matured. You have awareness. You're aware of who you are. And when you receive that, I know who I am. I know who I can be. I know who I need to reach. So when you know that, when you walk in your light, when you know your light, and you know your light comes from above, there's nothing that you can't do. So we want to be effective. We want to be better. We want to be better people in general. So heal your relationship. Heal your relationship with communication. Be a better you because you are deserving. You are deserving of all of that. So I thank everybody so much for coming to the Healing Your Relationship Conference. And next up, we're going to go over to, I believe it's Ruth of You Can Talk Your Way to Healthier Relationships. I'm just going to look in the chat, which I have not done. Yes, thank you, Val 11, Panama City. You Can Talk Your Way. I am Tracy Lee. Boss Life Online, Mr. Fulton, Minister of Music, Be Amazing Sylvia, Primpin, Regina Michelle. Let's see if I missed anybody else. Carla. I don't know if there's anybody else I missed. I apologize. Oh, Grandma Faye. I appreciate all of you guys. Oh, Brown and Beachy. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you guys have missed any part of this conference, watch the replay. After this day is over, I'm going to take all of the ladies and I'm going to put it in a playlist. I asked all the other ladies to do the same, to make a playlist of everybody so you guys can watch everybody's part because it has been awesome. So I thank you guys so much for coming. And now we're going to go over to Ruth of You Can Talk Your Way to Healthier Relationships. So, guys, heal your relationship with communication. You can do it. I believe in you guys. Believe in yourself. I will see you guys back at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much. So let's go over to You Can Talk Your Way to Healthier Relationships. Okay, guys.
Be encouraged, be inspired.